Hi everyone, very happy here to welcome Viola Edwards, and we are actually busy with some research on young women and the needs that young women have in the world. So this interview, first of all, is going to cover very specific countries that Viola's visited, but also it's going to be quite clear that a lot of her answers will come from working internationally. So first of all, welcome to Viola Edwards, the full name. Hi Viola.
Hello, Hellenic. So nice to be with you again here.
Yeah,
working with women and for women.
Yeah, we're getting the chance to hang out a lot lately and talk about women, and it's been very happy to do that. We did a feminine capital event recently in the north of Cyprus.
Yes.
And how did it go? How was it for you?
The event was very, very beautiful. I'm Latin American with Middle Eastern background, and the Middle East part of me was so happy to host people from all around and welcome them and greet them and give them the best of where we're living now. And it was fantastic for me to give back to Cyprus, because Cyprus had hosted me for the last 14 years. I came here end of 2002, beginning 2003, and restart my life here, and I always felt at home, and it was such a pleasure to give to Cyprus this international event and share with my local friends. So that was great. Apart from was a success, because many people come from both sides of the island. The speakers were very happy, the people were very happy, and we're organizing the next one. Hopefully between September and October, we will do another one in Europe. We are looking for the perfect place and the perfect city.
Wonderful.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I also went and I really enjoyed myself. I thought it was very special, and also that men were involved. So today we're going to talk very specifically about younger women, looking at the age maybe under 35 for sure, but maybe even under 30. So first of all, I want to know, in your opinion, how does a country's tradition or cultural aspects actually influence the young woman of today? What do you think?
Yes, well, I'm coming from America, and I would say women in South America is free spirit. She has good connection with her body and with her sexuality in one hand. On the other hand, I would say women has a lot of pressure in South America to be beautiful. Beauty is like an icon, like a value. To be well educated, to be to have a good job, to travel the world, to be cultured. So I remember more very, very young women under 20 who are already in university, who are already doing so many things, and they tell me, I will not have time. I don't have time. Wow. So I think the challenge of the women in South America is to kind of relax a little bit, and yeah, you have time. Of course, for us working and for us to be provider is an old story. We've been working for many, many years. Personally, I never felt challenged by being a woman or winning less than a man, and or if I go to an interview, they will prefer the men than me. Personally, I didn't have these kind of experiences, but I do feel how much challenge the women have. So summarizing, I would say having a good job, being traveled, being cultured, and keep her beauty and her shape is a huge thing for South America.
Yes, it's a huge pressure that they're under.
It is. But at the same time, I feel South American has an advantage over others. That maybe because I'm from Venezuela, and our weather is like we have this eternal summer, and we have like the rainy season and the dry season, but the weather is always good. We are like it's such a beautiful country, and we are outdoor a lot. And I think the fact that we have a lot of connection with our sensuality and our bodies and our sexuality, that kind of is an advantage over other places of the world, I would say, in middle of all the pressure that we have. Yeah.
And when we look at Europe, your work around European countries, and if you were to now compare it back to Europe and say something about women in Europe, what do you think the cultural influences are there about their needs and their difficulties?
Yeah, I would say, like, now that I live in Cyprus and I work in both sides of Cyprus, like the Greek side part and the Turkish side part. And also I'm planning to go around in Middle East. And as you know, I grew up in a Lebanese family in Venezuela. More pressure because what they will say is very big here. I would say the pressure of the family, the what I call the syndrome of the good girl. People cannot talk about us. As smaller the place is, more pressure we have about what the other gonna say about us. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and still there is a lot of pressure of the family over the young girl. Sometimes not only about what she's choosing to study, or there is still a lot of pressure of moving out of the house before getting married. We can see this kind of situation in Cyprus. It's not very common that 2 or 3 girls will move together when they start university. Okay, if they're out of the country, they will do it. If they are in the country, it's not very common. So it's getting more and more. So what happened is that she will stay at her family house and she has duty, or she's still spoiled because mom will do things for her. So there is a little bit of confusion between all what need to deliver and all what she still gets in an age that maybe she's already in university or she has a relationship, a lot of hidden relationship because, you know, mom and dad could not know yet. So there is another pressure of the woman, young woman, when she come out and she's starting her love life. Yeah, that makes sense?
Mm-hmm. So there's some concern about what others will say, limit her independence, getting a kind of distorted picture about what really her independence is about, and the impact of that on relationships. So,
Yeah.
about
Yes.
life is quite, you spoke about hidden relationships. What would you say specifically is the challenge to her love relationships? To be free and to develop her sexuality and her sensuality?
Yes, to be free. For example, we know how good it is for couples to travel together before formalizing their relationship, to see how they deal with stress, how they deal with money, how they deal with, you know, from a flight that was canceled, how that person deal with that stress, to being walking in another city, to the challenge of another language. And I find out that many girls between under 30 is still, they cannot be free to say, I'm going with my boyfriend to that trip. There is still lies, I'm going with my friends, so they cannot post photo, or is hidden. The hidden story, I think it's still quite a big issue in this part of the world. So that can, you know, that can add certain excitement to the loving relationship, but it's like not what they need at this stage. They need more exposure, they need more, you know, more freedom, they need the possibility to be seen publicly, so they can evaluate each other and see if with this person, which is a good person, but if that good person will suit me or not. Yeah. So that make it that many couples all will get married very soon. And but the result of that is that we could have a huge percentage of divorces in the first 2 years of marriage.
And if you were to look at the society then in general, and again, taking it back maybe to Europe first, and then you can give me some background about South America, is the 3 aspects that influence young women negatively from society. What would you say they are? And then the 3 that
Can you repeat that question? Because I couldn't hear you properly.
the 3 things that influence her negatively and the 3 things that influence her positively from society. Like looking at the strongest aspects in her society that influence her. You started at
Yeah.
but let's summarize.
You mean in general, or where I am now in Cyprus?
I think in Europe, we're looking at European countries. So if Cyprus is
European country, yes.
probably.
Yes. It's interesting in European countries, isn't it? Because Portugal will be so different from France, and Cyprus will be quite different from Spain, you know? But anyway, I would say, thing that influence a young girl is the connection with her family, to be respected and to be dealt with as an adult as she grows. I can see this through my coaching and psychotherapy session. Even with, I would say it doesn't matter if in a family that mom and dad are together or if they are divorced, because if they are treating her as an individual and not overprotecting her or diminishing her, this is one of the major things that a woman needs. The way how she's treated at home by her first authority, which is her parent or her carer, that's gonna continue in her life. A girl that is shouted at or diminished is the girl that will allow a boyfriend to shout at her or to push her or to ridiculize her in public. There is a lot of studies of how one of every three young girls are mistreated by their boyfriend who love them. It's not like casual relationship. They have a long-term relationship, and they are in one way or another mistreated, or how the violence, domestic violence, could start at that early age. So when I'm working with couple and they have small children and daughters, and many times the man will not go through, and he would say, this is my personality and it's okay if I shout and I'm a good man. And I said, imagine now your daughter gonna be shouted at, and not only shouted at, pushed. Because if you grow up in a home that there is a lot of shouting and there is a lot of violence, then the girl thinks that this is what's normal. So one of the positive things is that parents manage their story and their shouting and their aggressivity with the kids. And the fact that the parents are dealing with that young woman as individual with respect doesn't mean spoiled, doesn't mean that we will allow her everything she wants. Of course, parents are there to set boundaries, etc. Another thing is that she has freedom to expand, but at the same time, there are some very clever parents that manage to be present in their children expansion. I always kind of how you say feel touched by one of my sister-in-law, who, like, once a year she will invite friends of her children to be with them in holidays. Doesn't matter where is the holidays, yeah. And I would say, oh my God, you have so many children, more children. And she would say, what better than that, to see how they are, how they, she will host all those kids. But find ways how to be present in your daughter life. That's another thing that influences her. And listen carefully with what the other thing that influences girl a lot is to be listened at carefully about what is their longing for. We know that as parents, we always want to give our children the best, and we have the tendency to give them what we wanted, but we didn't get. Yeah? Being that piano, violin, dancing, trips. But we need to listen if that what I longed for is in reality what she wanted. Yeah? Like, for example, I see it a lot in music, that one of my one of my questionnaire question is that, do you play any instrument? And I find a lot of people who love music, but they don't play because the pressure that they have had as children to play. And then as adults, we will start doing how to connect with the piano, with the violin again, because when you have the chance to connect with music and to create, it's one of the wonderful way to work therapeutically, as you know. So I would say those are three things that influence a lot. And the three negative things will be to ridiculize them publicly or privately, like that. Really? To diminish them or to pressure them to a level like when you're a clever girl and you are multi-talented, I would say many of us, I'm one of those, have a lot of pressure to deliver in her values, at home, in her studies. And I think when we have many talents, is to relax because we have so many talents. So we will make it through in life. It's not about to perform A plus in all those talents. You know what I mean?
Yeah, got it.
And also we have some the fact that the daughter or this young girl is distracted or in love with music or also doesn't mean that she's not good. It's good. It's just that it's very difficult to find where is it that she's good at. And of course some kids are very, very a big challenge for their parents. So I would say and relationship, when the parents use the kids for their own fight, I would say this is one of the biggest damage that they can do to their kids. And parents who stay together in an eternal war just to give a home for the kids, I will always tell them reconsider that, because kids grow up thinking that marriage is like that. And also I want to say to mothers that love a lot her daughter and sacrifice a lot for her, and she stay in a bad relationship so the daughter can have the best. Remember, your daughter will not do what you're telling her to do. She will do what she saw you doing. So maybe she will create a relationship, or she will be in a relationship that also she will be mistreated. So all these sacrifices for kids nowadays, I know in a time women could not take her freedom, but nowadays we really have to consider if people are doing those sacrifices for the kids or for themselves, and all that is quite damaging, I would say, for the girl that mom is doing all that for me, etc. Yeah, did I answer your question?
Yes, and we also crossed into the next question, which was about what can improve the situation. So we went into that, explaining a lot about parenting. If you look at the society, is there anything you want to add to that? Are there any aspects from society that you see are making it more difficult for women to succeed happily?
Yeah, for example, I see a situation very recurrent in Cyprus. Let me see if you agree with it. Parents will do everything for their children. Absolutely everything. Like studies in the best university, best wedding, helping them to buy their first property, etc. But there is one thing that they will not support them much to do, which is taking a gap year and going around, And then many of these women, talented or not, the talented one is like, they pass from primary, secondary to university to master, and even some of them have PhD, around 30. And it's so much duty to do, and stealing from life moment of joy, but they will not have support just to between years to just chill and go around and have an experience as an individual, working in cafes or working in a museum, and just be free and observe the world. They have to hurry up to finish their study. And then we have here the pressure is to be mother, to marry and to be mother. So it's a lot of pressure into the woman, a lot. In Europe, maybe in other countries of Europe, we don't have that. We have the freedom, and then the time pass, and then, oops, we have the clock, and we want to be mothers. And so it's like how to find the balance between these two worlds will be a fantastic thing to do, huh?
Right, yeah. Tricky, very
Yeah.
tricky. So we've got a lot of answers here about and then some general answer for the rest of the world. But if you were to go back to your younger self and you think about yourself as young as you feel you want to, what kind of advice would you give yourself about that? What advice would you give to your younger self?
My younger self. My younger self. My younger self was a little bit troubled, and I would give my younger self what I gave her in that time. I gave her therapy and I gave her coaching. I'm in a part of a group, and our dream is that each one of us, everyone, will have a mentor or a coach in their life. Because some of us, we're very lucky to have a member of the family that, or a teacher that connect with us and could help us to go through life difficulty. But some of us, we couldn't because we were helping others. Like in my case, I was producing, I was helping, I'm working since 13. And when I got lost, I lost. So what I will give to everybody is the possibility to go into coaching that help you first to understand where you're at, and later to help you to move where you want to be. And in order to do that, you would need to understand where is it that you want to be. Yeah.
So how old did you see yourself now when I asked you that?
Well, I remember myself. I was 27 when somebody told me and greeted me, and they told me, "You're the free of us. You have work. You have your apartment. You have your car." And I remember when they mentioned the word freedom. In that moment, I understood I was not free because I was chain smoker. And I remember I saw the object of the cigarette, and I remember saying, "Oh my God, I'm not free. This object is taking my freedom." And also, I decided to stop smoking then and there, but I was 3 to 5 packs cigarette a day. So that was very, very hard, something to do. But it was so interesting because I fought all my life for freedom, my freedom and other people's freedom, and still today. So when I understood that that object, cylindrical object, that big, was taking my freedom away, that gave me the strength to stop. It took me 2 years to stop, and a lot of depression and a lot of crying. But also I remember when I touched my 30, and when you are in that stage of being up sometime, being down, like you're not embracing life. And wake up that morning and I said, life is not like this. There must be another way. And my gift to myself was going to analysis, to psychotherapy. And I stayed there for the next 4 years in psychoanalysis first and the rest of my life. But what I mean was that I was, first, I had a lot of difficulties in my life at the beginning. But because I had this love for psychology, for philosophy, for understanding life, that kind of was my salvation. And this is what I will give everybody: art, sport activities, but also coaching. Your psyche is very important, is the drive, is the motor for many things. So you will need, all of us, we will need coaching, psychotherapy, guiding in some areas of my life. And I was a young woman that was self-destroying myself with smoking, with living so intensely. I used to think, like many other girls that I see today, there is no time to do it all. So I was one of those who sleep 3 hours and did it all. And on top of that, I had to work and provide. And also the other thing, I will tell myself that I will work with myself to need less approval. I was a young woman who needed a lot of approval, a lot. And because of that, I put myself in situations that they were painful, and it could have ended even worse than I did, So I would work with young girl to approve themselves first and understand their uniqueness and how beautiful they are, and from them enhance them, and not to fit them in a shape, in a taste, in a diploma. It's like I would invite you to go into the diving, swimming into your uniqueness, and from there improve and enhance. This is what I will give to my younger self.
Thank you. And now, if your mother could have told you something when you were younger, what do you wish it was?
Tell me again.
What could your mother have told you about life that would have really helped you, that she didn't?
Yeah, well, my mother, bless her, she told me many things about life that helped me. And mom taught me by model. She used to tell me, my mother used to tell me a lot that I should get married and have children. But my mother was a widow, very young widow. She didn't remarry. And this is what I'm telling you. What I observe is a young woman, an older woman, who by herself raise a family, work, and survive many things. So I was following that model even when she would tell me other things. So mom, many of the things that mom guided me about is, for example, generosity, open the house, and generosity. She would say, generosity will hide another 100 defects. So be generous with your knowledge, with your thing, just be generous, loving. There is one thing that she modeled to me, and I had to work very, very hard to change it. It was the poor me. I mean, she was strong and she did a lot of things in life, but it was in her the remain of becoming a widow at 24, of have lost so many houses and so many things through life, through war, through life, through changing country. And she did get, for some years, she was marked by the poor me. And fortunately, at the end of her life, in the last 15 years of her life, having two daughters, me, psychotherapist, and my sister too, and my sister was living with her. And that shift in her, fortunately, at the end. But something I had to work a lot that I would have captured from my mom and some women of my family is the poor me. So I'm not poor me anymore.
Okay, and what do you think? We only have 10 minutes left and we have a few more questions. So what do you think she could have told you that you would have been happy to know about? Like a piece of advice or something that you wish she could have told you, but she didn't?
Look, my mom showed me a lot of generosity, but she was very concerned about not to have saves because of her life situation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So as a result of that, myself, I'm a person who I have a big difficulty to save. I have the power to produce for what I want, but she showed the same to my sister, and my sister is very organized, and she can save. If she get 10, she will save one for sure. So I would say, Mom, as children, we take. Maybe I would have asked her to be more, beside generosity, to be also more secure about, we will always have.
And 3 things you struggled with when you were young? Just name them if you can. 3 things.
Yes, disapproval, like this feeling of I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
This feeling that I don't know enough, I'm not good enough. It's like
Not good enough.
I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. The feeling that I'm not gonna have enough time to do all what I need to do in this life.
Okay. And
the other feeling, which was very hard, that I cannot relax, because as soon as I relax, I'm gonna lose. Life gonna take it from me. So I have to be on the pole all the time.
Okay, and if you were to think now about society generally, what do you think are the channels that really influence young women?
Now?
Yeah, the channels, the networks that really influence young women the most in society.
Yeah. You mean positively, negatively, in general? Yeah, I think media influence young women. And for that, we do more and more good messages in media, good images in media. I think also the fact that women is so over-demanded, would you say? Like, again, we need to study, we need to work, we need to be mothers, good in everything. So there is a lot of pressure on her. So, and the way how women should do things, and also the sense of beauty, is a lot of pressure on women nowadays. And beauty and producing. In the past, she always had the beauty thing, but now the beauty and to produce and to compete and to be the best. And it's that thing about being the best.
Okay, being the best. Okay, and then now your ideas about what are the strongest influences on her personal development that influence her positively on her personal development.
I think for young women, it's very important to meet young women who are successful being themselves, to meet older women that has been successful being themselves, and to have a lot of support from their fathers, their brothers, their couples, because not only about having the model of women for that in the Feminine Capital Forum, we include men. It's Feminine Capital Forum, but it's for men and women. For women, it is very, very important that her brother, her father, her boyfriend treat her as an equal, as a peer, and count with her as a peer. You know, it doesn't mean that we don't have to be. I like myself adornment and color and do my hair and dress, but that doesn't diminish or increase my cleverness or the fact that I'm smart. Today I'm like this, maybe tomorrow I have also freedom not to be so much like this, you know. So the fact is that the woman to take her femininity and at the same time to increase and work from her femininity, her compassion, her empathy, her creativity, at the same time to remember how much she has from the masculinity of achieving, of manage to deliver what she's creating, and keep working in her communication with men. Doesn't matter whatever she chooses, being same sex or not, men are in our lives as our partner, business partner, love partner, our sons, our brothers, our employees, or our superiors, yeah, our bosses. So this is what I would say, more modeling of women in different ages who manage with women and with men. And the other thing is, there is that thing that hurt me a lot, that they say women compete with each other, and you know, we cannot compete with each other. This is something that, okay, we had from the past, but we're not trapped there. Women can collaborate with each other, and women can do beautiful things like you and me we are doing, respecting each other's uniqueness. And that is fear that as women we need to let go. There is place for everybody in this world, and there is client for everybody, and there is possibilities for everybody. This is what I would like to influence the girl and the young woman today.
And if you think a little bit about the events that you've been to, which ones do you think have had the biggest impact on personal development for young women?
Which one? Which event? That's I.
Was there any event, conference, or training that had a really big impact on the personal development of women, of young women?
That I could not answer you like that, because there is many. I've been in so many. I could say whatever event she is, I would recommend her also to do her private therapeutical process. Remember, I want to tell you also, young women, that there is two reasons why you would go to a therapeutical process. One, if you have a critical area that together with your therapist, you will find out the causes and find solutions. But there is another reason why you go, is when everything in life is good and you know there is more, and together you explore and you improve. So when you go to therapy, you don't have to be there for the rest of your life. Sometimes it's a matter of 10 sessions, 12 sessions, 6 sessions. So whatever event you go or training you go, I will still recommend you to have, being online or being face-to-face, to have your own private space.
Yeah. So if we're asking to create opportunities for women to go beyond that, or to expand that in and of itself, what kind of ingredients, 5 ingredients, do you think they should be included in an educational or training event for young women, over and above the therapeutic part of it? Topics would you add to that?
Dynamic, that they can listen to each other, that not only listening to a trainer, that training should have dynamic, a lot of voice and space, that she could take the microphone and talk. What is her pain? What is that scare her? What is that she would like? You know, a lot of interaction I would do in the training. I would also include like holistic training, that it include mind and emotion and communication and about achievement and a lot of understanding about the body and acceptance of the body. Women suffer a lot because of her body, because her body doesn't fit in what her ideal is. So I will include in that like color, image, body, shape, style, whatever related to
One minute with you. Tell me 2
and
minutes.
meaning and meaning of life. What is it that at that age, at your short age, is the meaning of your life? And if you don't understand the question, to look for what is the meaning. So it's who I am, what I'm doing here, with whom I relate, and what is the meaning.
Wonderful,
Yeah.
Viola. Thank you so much. We only have a limited
You're
time
welcome.
for this recording, so thanks so much for all your help. You've answered way beyond what I've asked on the formal questions, so we're going to need a lot of input from this. Thank you so much for everything you've said, and would be lovely to know if there's any way that this interview can go further and really help women. If we manage to do that, that'll be really great. So thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome anytime.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.